guys, welcome to video number 23, and in this video we're just going to take another quick look into what stop losses are. You probably already got the idea. Once again, we've covered it already a bit, but we'll just go back over it again for your peace of mind. Okay, so a stop loss is, as the name implies, it is there to stop large losses. Now, what that means is, as we've shown already, you place it in the opposite direction of where you think the trade's going to go, and if it happens to go backwards and hit that stop loss level that you have placed, it protects you from further losses. So the idea behind it is that you place it behind or underneath or on top of, depending on the direction you're trading. You place it on the other end of a key level that if the chart breaks past in the wrong direction, that it is more likely to keep going in that direction. So that way it protects you from a major move in the wrong direction. But stop losses, they have a good and a bad side to them, and they can be inherently frustrating to traders when, for example, you're placing a trade, and this will probably happen to you at some point. Your trade will go backwards, it will hit your stop loss, and then it will turn around and it will go exactly where you wanted it to. And that can be very annoying because you might lose X amount on your stop, but then it goes and hits the place where your target was anyway. So then you think, well, why should I have even had a stop loss? Now, you can trade without stop losses, you can trade with stop losses. The decision is entirely up to you. However, stop losses are very good to use. They do protect you, like I said, from massive movements in the wrong direction. They add a bit of certainty to your system, and they also save you from being tied up in a negative trade for a long period of time. Now, if you've got deep enough pockets and small enough trades, you can hold on to trades and not use stop losses, and you can weather them out. You know, even if they go into negatives for days, you can weather them out. I do that sometimes, where I will hold on to a trade. If it goes a little bit against me for a few days, I'll just hold on to it. If it looks like it's going to come back, even if it takes a week, I'll hold it because I've got an account that allows me to do that. So even if it went even further south for a while, but it still looked like it was going to come back, I could absorb that. But drawing the line is where it's very hard for some traders, because using a stop loss, for a lot of new traders, they think, well, I don't really want to use it because I don't like the concept of losing money. And I mean, no trader likes the concept of losing money, let's face it. But it is just one of those parts of trading. You're going to every now and again have a negative trade. The trick is placing the stop loss in the right place so that there's less of a chance of it hitting and then going in the direction you wanted it to, which, as I said, is the most frustrating part of stop losses. Now, the way you place them, generally what you want to try and achieve is you want to try and achieve a ratio of 2-to-1 profit to stop loss, or take profit to stop loss. So you want the potential profit of your trade. If you're setting a target, you want your take profit to be twice as big as your stop loss. So for example, if you have a stop loss of 200, you want your target to be at least 400, at least. That's a good number to aim for. You can via either side of this, you can go 1.8-to-1. If you really want to, in some cases, you can go 1-to-1, that's okay. But the good thing about 2-to-1 is you can lose 75% of your trades statistically and win 25% of them and still break even. That's the best part of it. Now, when you're setting a stop loss, you might be wondering, how do I set it? What sort of figure do I need to aim for with my stop loss? How much do I risk per trade? Now, the best way to do it is to risk 1% per trade. So if your account is $1,000, you want to only risk a maximum of $10 per trade. So if your trade loses, you're only going to lose $10. And that way, you'd have to have a pretty bad run of losing trade after trade after trade after trade after trade to tank yourself. And that probably will not happen. So risk 1%, so therefore aim to gain at least 2%. And that's a good conservative way to trade. You're not going to overdo it. You can go up a little bit more if you want to risk 2%, 3%. Some traders risk 5%. I generally aim for risking 1% or even less than 1% sometimes. It just comes down to personal preference. But making sure you place your stop loss in the right place is a good way to protect yourself from unwanted stop loss triggering, because it can happen, and it does happen a lot. And this is where the levels in AccuTrade's algorithms are very handy, especially on the Pro, where it actually plots out key levels that you can utilize. So if you're trading from one level, you can see where it'd be a good idea to put a stop loss and all of that kind of thing, so that it makes it a lot easier for you to determine where to place it, because it can be hard to determine where to place one correctly. Okay, that is stop losses in a nutshell. Now, just before I finish this one up, I will also touch on what is called a trailing stop. Now, a trailing stop is a very good thing to know. If you place a trade here and you have a target way up here and you have a stop loss here, and the trade starts moving up in a good direction, and it gets, say, halfway to its target, what you can do is you can move that stop loss up to above where the trade started. So that way, if it turns around and takes a dive, it will hit your stop loss in profit before it goes into the negatives. So you'll make money either way. Once you move your stop loss up into positive territory, you'll make money either way, whether you hit the target or the stop loss. Obviously, there's a bit of a difference. This one might only be $5. Your target might be $100. But either way, you're going to make something. And you can just keep following it up. As it goes, if it fluctuates, goes up again, you can keep moving your stop up with it and chase it all the way to the top. And that way you reduce the risk of losing money. Now, you can manually do it, you can manually move it, or you can set a trailing stop where it will follow X amount of pips behind, and then when it turns around and starts coming down, it stops, and then when it keeps going again, it chases it up. When it turns around a bit, it stops, and then it chases it again. Personally, I don't use the trailing stop. I tend to just do it manually if I do it, but the feature is there. Play around with it, see what you think. Alright, on to the next video, number 24.